The tragic house fire in Sandy Lake First Nation is renewing calls for fire safety on remote First Nations. Sol Mamakwa is the MPP for Kiiwetinoong, the riding that includes Sandy Lake First Nation. Sol, thanks so much for being with us here.
Miigwech for having me.
Fire services on reserve are primarily a federal responsibility, but what's your message for the province of Ontario in light of this tragedy?
It's very important that we understand we cannot use jurisdiction as an excuse when we talk about the health and the lives of children dying on reserve because of because of house fires. It's important that we understand that.
How would you describe the state of firefighting services on First Nations that you serve, and how does that impact the survivability of reserve fires?
I think when we talk about the strategic underfunding, the underfunding of access to fire halls, fire equipment, fire trucks, lack of training, this is not by accident. It's the oppressive, the colonial systems that are there are continuing to be happening, and that's one of them is when we talk about it. And I think we cannot continue that route of whereby we are complacent, whereby Indigenous children are continuing to die in our communities, and we cannot look away. We cannot use jurisdiction as an excuse, and I think the province needs to be part of the solution, whereby they work with the federal government, they work with First Nations leadership, and to come up with a solution that is multi-pronged approach to addressing this issue so we don't lose any more children, Indigenous children.
So it seems like we have something like this happen almost every winter. What needs to happen in order to increase firefighting capacity on First Nations?
I think we just need to be able to listen and hear what the First Nations need. There's been reports done before. We need to be able to look at the fire safety awareness education campaigns that are happening. We need to have a standardized service delivery model that that will work for the First Nations. It's got to be Indigenous driven. It's got to be led by the First Nations, and both levels of government need to be able to respond and provide the resources to be able to do that.
It's all such a tragedy. Appreciate you taking some time to speak with us about this today.
Miigwech for having me.